Hello, my name is Martin Cowen, and I am the author of this book, Fabian Libertarianism, 100 Years to Freedom. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. In 1972, during my first year of law school, I attended the Georgia Libertarian Party Convention. In 2016, I attended the Georgia Libertarian Party Convention. What this means is that I have been a libertarian for 44 years. In 1975, I graduated from law school. I have been a lawyer for over 41 years. What I am doing in this series of videos is I am enacting my book, Fabian Libertarianism, 100 Years to Freedom. And in this series of videos, I am giving advice to libertarian candidates who are going to start right now running for offices that are up for election in 2 years. What I'm doing is giving a series of tips, ideas that I think are important for a libertarian candidate who wants to run for office. And the tip for today is, how do you deal when talking about the subject of privacy with the accusation that honest people don't have anything to hide? And this kind of thing comes up when you're talking about telephone taps of all Americans. Some people think that's going on. Some people think the NSA is doing that. This subject comes up when body searches are made at airports by the TSA. And a common response is, I don't have anything to hide. I am an honest person. This is completely false. We all have things that we need and want, and appropriately, to hide. And I'm going to give 6 very short examples right now. Number 1, imagine a pervert walking up to you on the beach, puts his 2 fingers into the front of your bathing suits to look at your genitals. Well, naturally, you would repel him, jump back, and object. What would you think if he said, honest people don't have anything to hide? Well, obviously, that's ridiculous. We all want to protect, at a minimum, and conceal our private parts from perverts and any person in the general public. Number 2, suppose you have a sadistic boss and you want to get a new job. Well, it's very likely that you'll want to keep your job hunt secret from your boss until such time as you find that new job and can then give your 2-week notice. Number 3, many parents who use birth control want to hide the birth control equipment and or the pills from their kids. A completely natural concept. Number 4, suppose you're selling your house. Well, you want to keep a secret of the lowest price you're willing to accept from your buyer so that you can get the best price from your buyer. Number 5, we all live in houses, in apartments, and within those houses and apartments we have normal activities, most of which we hope to keep private and secret from nosy neighbors. That's why we have shades on our windows, we have doors. This is completely natural. We want to keep our private lives a secret, private from private prying eyes. And finally, number 6. Suppose you have a concealed carry permit and you're carrying a gun in public. You'll want to keep the gun hidden. You want to carry it concealed so that the people around you are not disturbed or unnerved by the fact that someone's carrying a gun. So I've given you 6 examples of obvious situations in which we all have something we want to hide, something we want to keep private. The type of people who would say honest people don't have anything to hide obviously don't have in mind the 6 examples that I gave. They too probably would want to hide their private parts from the pervert, their job search from the bad boss, their birth control pills from their kids, their low price from the home buyer, the private activities in your home from the nosy neighbor and your concealed gun from John Q. Public. They would all agree with that. But what they would try to do is make a distinction between those 6 categories of people and the government. Libertarians are not willing to say that the government is somehow a super being entitled to a higher status over you or me, and that's the big difference between some people. But they would make that distinction. This distinction comes from a philosophical point made by Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who talked about what's known as the general will. And with that concept, he tried to deify the government. Of course, libertarians do not accept the deification of the government, and therefore we make that distinction. They're just a group of people, no better morally, no worse morally than the people that I want, in my examples, to keep things private from. So, I will hope you will find this video useful when you talk with people about privacy and our right to privacy. As I mentioned, this is just one of many videos in which I hope to give tips to libertarian candidates who are going to start running right now for public offices available for election 2 years hence. Thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to talking to you again.